I first wrote Inside the Body of God in 2009. I was doing a lot of coaching at the time, and I had a lot of clients that were really into success mindset, and they were doing a lot of the things that they thought they should be doing to craft a successful life. They were setting goals, visualizing, doing dream boards and vision boards. And even though they were putting a lot of work into manifesting and creating, they really weren't getting the results that they were hoping for. What I realized when I started working with them is there were three things that they were missing in their creative process. Number one, they were creating only from the mind and using their mind to craft a mindset. But when you only create from the mind, you actually miss out on a lot of very powerful components of the creative process. Number two, they weren't using the power of their heart to create. In fact, science shows now that our heart is actually a magnetic resonance field, and that when we stay in coherence with our heart energy and we use our heart to create, we actually amp up our creative power significantly. The third thing that they weren't doing is they weren't being consistent. They were trying to have habits. They were trying to structure their creative process in a way that really wasn't right for them. And they didn't really understand that we're not all designed the same. There is no one-size-fits-all blueprint for how we should structure a daily practice. And because they weren't in tune with what was right and correct for them, they weren't able to stick with their habits and practices in a way that they could get the long-term benefit of being consistent over time. Around that same time, I also stumbled across the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas. And what I found in that ancient document was really there was a map in there that laid out a very holistic and powerful strategy for manifesting. And I knew as soon as I read that I had to take this ancient science of creating and translate it in a modern way, in a relevant way for my clients. So once I began to teach them what I learned from the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, and once I blended it with the human design system, which gave them deep insights into their personal energy blueprint and how to structure their creative process in the way that was right for them, well, then magic happened. The book kind of fell by the wayside over the last few years. I really have shifted my focus a lot on human design and looking at quantum science, and I've actually been doing research in integrating health and quantum science and human design. And what I noticed over the last year or so with my clients was that they started saying to me a lot of the same stuff that I heard people saying in 2009. They were feeling anxious. They were trying to use their minds to stabilize themselves and create from a mindset. They were doing everything right and not getting the results that they were hoping for. It's hard to create when you're under stress. It's hard to create when you're sitting in a time where there's an enormous amount of upheaval and pressure and transformation and even unrest happening. And I think that when we're sitting in chaos or what feels like chaos, it's very easy to lose connection with the truth of who you are and your innate creative power. So I decided to rewrite and then re-release Inside the Body of God because I really feel like it's simple to actually thrive during times of massive change, but it's easy to get knocked off course. It's easy to let your energy be hijacked by circumstances outside yourself, by energies outside yourself. And I really felt like we all needed to get back to the basics of the creative principles laid out in the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas and laid out in the Inside the Body of God book. My intention for this book is to give people a handbook, if you will, for how to thrive during times of massive change, so that you can remember the truth of who you really are, so that you can be who you came here to be and ultimately do what you came here to do.